We are in our new living room today, and I'm so excited. It's Wednesday, September the 26th.
And we're talking cyberbullying.
The conversation starts now.
I'm Rob and Tristan in Foster Life.
Welcome back to Foster Life today. I'm so excited. We are in our new living room, and we've been waiting to film here. You guys have seen our new news desk, but I thought normally we start at our news desk and then we move to the living room, but I thought since it's all brand new today, we would shoot in the living room. And that also helps us out a little bit. It's really strange when you're used to a different set and then you're on a new set. And for any of you that have worked around film or television or even drama stuff, you know what I'm talking about. So we're all a little bit off today. Well, Cindy says that I'm always off, but I think it's going to be a really good show. We're talking about cyberbullying, and I don't think people really understand the severity of it until they actually experience it. And then when you get close to it, you experience it and you see it, and then you're thinking, how do I shut it down? And it's not as easy to shut down as one would think. But I think as foster parents and foster families, it's a really good conversation for us to start today. We're going to be talking about that a little bit today. Middle of the week, how's things going this week, Tristan?
It's going good.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Actually, surprised it's already the middle of the week.
Yeah, and you're feeling better. You were sick last week, so everything's good now.
Yes, I'm doing
And you're
all
doing
right now.
good. Cindy is joining us, and Cindy's on our show most every day. She's kind of our expert. She's got many years in social work, and so she kind of puts me in my place. A lot of us foster parents, I guess, don't know what we're talking about, so she educates me and puts me in my place and stuff. And then, of course, Joe Mama is on the show. Her new show airs October 3rd, and that's Joe Mama's House.
I'm going to go ahead and write that down because I know that I'm going to eat that day.
Oh, yeah, because you will get probably food that day, and it's always good when Joe Mama's in the house, and she teaches us things. And I hope on Friday show that you're going to do a snack with us, because we haven't had a good snack in a while.
Those are Tristan's favorite days.
Yeah, well, and I need to quit snacking because I'm getting too snacky. But anyway, so what's in the news, Cindy?
Well, something that I heard in the news today that I thought was so wonderful is that many states now are adopting a plan for their schools to institute a mental health education program.
I love this.
Yes.
I love this. I love this. I love this.
So it's anywhere from middle school to high school, and so as part of their core curriculum, they are addressing mental health issues.
So is Missouri doing this yet?
Missouri has not adopted that yet, but I have a feeling that we know some people that might be on that.
Yeah, we need to get them on board. And I love this because I just saw a news story not too long ago, and we don't have enough mental health facilities anyway.
Right.
So I think by adopting this curriculum and putting it into their core curriculum, that we're making progress in the right direction to providing care for people that have mental health issues and need help and support. And I just don't think that we can go wrong by doing this.
And I think recognizing it in as young as middle school, the story that I watched, the teacher was so surprised that when she talked to her entire middle school class, they were fifth graders, and she asked them how many of them had been stressed. and every single student raised their hand. And she was shocked that even 5th graders knew what stressed meant.
Right.
And every one of them could give a definition.
That is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I think that's an awesome program, and I hope that that goes nationwide.
Yeah, I hope it goes nationwide as well. When we come back today, we're going to talk about a very sobering subject, and that's cyberbullying. It happens more than you think, and we'll be back to start that conversation.
No more trash bag moves for foster youth. Help us buy bags. Donate at fostertv.net. Click the yellow donate button. Foster TV is a HEDFRA production. Only at Foster TV.
Report that social media companies should be doing more about cyberbullying. Cyberbullying doesn't only affect teenagers and youth, it also affects college students and adults around the country as well. Today, Cindy McDaniel is with us, and she's going to be talking to us about some of the statistics that are out there about cyberbullying and some of the things that she has found. So what are some of the stuff that we're looking at when we talk about cyberbullying?
Well, a lot of cyberbullying, kids report that, it's so much easier to do because it's behind a screen.
Uh-huh.
And so, number one, they have confidence
Right.
Behind the screen. Number two, you don't always know who's doing it, so
Yeah.
there's some anonymity in that. So 37% of young people between the ages of 12 and 17 have been bullied online.
Wow.
And 30% of those report that it's happened multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
So those are staggering statistics that I think as foster parents, we need to think about that internet access.
Right. One of the things that I'm thinking about just out of the gate, a lot of times these foster kids move, and we know from statistics that they move on an average of 8 times.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when you come into a new school, so you're moving around, you come into a new school, you're kind of targeted anyway. So I would guess that our bundles of joy that come into the house are kind of at more risk anyway because they move around and because they're, they feel different or kids think they're different and that type of thing. Would you agree?
I would agree with that, and I think another thing to think about, that I think that's a very valid point.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that we need to think about is that kids that have been in residential sometimes do not have the skills that kids that have not been in residential
Right.
with internet, social media, phones, and that sort of thing.
Exactly.
So when they transition from residential to either a foster home or a transitional living facility, and they have that access, then sometimes they are most vulnerable.
Right. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's one thing that we have to look at as well. What else did you find as far as cyberbullying is concerned?
So 95% of kids under the age of 18 have access to social media.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty big statistics there.
Yeah.
The number one group of harassment is targeted towards the LGBTQ community. So it says that over half of those LGBTQ students are harassed online. So that is concerning.
We've done a good job, I think, in the United States with LGBTQ plus community, especially from when I was in high school. We can always do better, and half, to me, and with my background, if you know me, I don't think half is good enough.
Right.
I think we still got a ways to go there.
Well, and that leads to, the young people who experience that cyberbullying are at a much greater risk for self-harm, for suicidal behaviors, risk-taking, and that sort of thing. And that, I think we have to do better at too.
Yeah, definitely.
So those are areas that I think that need some work, and I think those are areas that as a foster parent, I mean, we just have to be super vigilant about that.
Right.
And monitor what our kids are on.
Mm-hmm. And we've done this show before. You know, there's Snapchat, there's Instagram, there's Twitter, there's Facebook. Most kids are not on Facebook, which I find, but there's all these different places out there. And again, we've done a show on this, but just remember, go on their pad and go on their phone, go on their laptops and see what they're getting into and what they're involved in, and make sure that you put those protections in place for them. But also, I think we have to make sure that our kids aren't the ones that are bullying or doing any of that kind of stuff as well.
Are there regulations for foster homes on how they monitor the child's social media?
There's not regulations in place. I think that, again, like we talk about so many times, there is, you know the kids that are in your home, and you know the caseworker. And some caseworkers have stronger guidelines on that and want different protections in place. But I think it's a lot of it is just being sensitive to that.
Yep.
They say only 1 in 10 kids will report being bullied online.
Well,
1 in 10.
We check our child's phone, but I don't know if you can, is that a privacy thing? If you check a foster's phone, or?
If they are in your house, they have to live by your rules.
Good.
And if you have all the phones turned in by 8 o'clock at night, they have to turn their phone in at 8 o'clock at night. If you go through all of your kids' phones once a week, you can go through their phone once a week. I think what I always encourage families to do is whatever you do with your bio kids, I would like to see you do with your foster kids. And that means, sometimes our foster kids have a past, and so we're a little bit harder on them, and we don't do it as much with our bio kids, and that causes a problem too. So just do it with everybody. And then that way everybody feels like they're a part of the same thing, and they can all go complain to each other downstairs and gripe about it. Oh, he's going through our phones right now, but at least I'm going through everybody's phone, not just one person's phone.
And I think too, there's all kinds of tips that you can find online, but one of the key tips is to look for fake profiles. It's pretty good. I mean, it's pretty easy to spot a fake profile. But we're adults, and kids might not be able to do that. And one of the number one places for cyberbullying is through the gaming systems. So that is a really big issue right now, is that these gaming systems that, kids, link with others, through the
you
internet.
can live stream a game and be talking to several different people in a group.
When we come back, I want to talk about, most importantly, the dangers of cyberbullying, because it can go a lot further than just getting your feelings hurt. And I want to address that today, right here on Foster Life. Welcome back to Foster Life. Today we are talking about cyberbullying, and it's kind of disheartening. I think what people don't realize is maybe it starts out as a picking type thing, but you were just telling me at the break, it can lead to some really pretty severe things.
Yeah, I mean, studies are showing that the cyberbullying leads to anxiety, depression, self-esteem issues. It can lead to eating disorders. It can lead, there's multiple cases of suicide from the cyberbullying. And part of the problem is that it's difficult to report. It's difficult for kids to report because they don't want to get their phones taken away. They don't want to get their devices monitored and things like that. So they're hesitant to tell, and then it just ruminates within them.
Well, and here's the thing. I went to high school, you went to high school, we all went to high school. So you report it, and that's all good and well, but then the next day you gotta go face all of those people at school that are involved in this, and then it's bad there, and and I just don't want to go through any of that stuff, so I'm just gonna keep it to myself. But I could see that. I mean, if you're getting messages all the time that you're fat, you're ugly, you're stupid, or whatever, and I know it gets a lot worse than that, but you keep getting those, pretty soon you're gonna start feeling that way. And the thing about cyberbullying is because you really don't have, I guess you do have a voice back, but you're getting that information. It's not like an argument where you can cut somebody off. You're going to hear their whole statement of what they have to say to you.
And oftentimes the person, the issue lies with the person bullying. Mm-hmm. And so if you respond, then you're feeding the bully.
Right.
And so we try to tell our kids, don't listen, don't respond, and that sort of thing. But that's hard to do.
Do you watch the Element movies, Lifetime Movie Network? And a lot of times there's true stories about that. I had to quit watching because I used to have nightmares about getting killed and stuff. But what happens too in some of these true movies that are about the cyberbullying, so it starts between the kids, and then the mom writes the other mom, and then pretty soon the moms are cyberbullying each other. And you were just telling me at break that most cases that are reported for cyberbullying are between adults, not kids. And I think that's just because kids kind of keep it under wraps, so to speak. But that's kind of scary, because if I get something, I'm a kind of a no-nonsense guy. If somebody wants to tear me down, if somebody wants to talk bad about me, talk bad about my family, talk bad about people I work with, whatever, it's just block, and we send out a letter and we move on. Because we're paid in this industry to be in front of the TV, so it's taken very seriously, in our business. However, I don't know if you're not in the media broadcast business or entertainment business, I'm not sure that it's being taken as seriously as it should be. So what do you do if you find out your kid's being cyberbullied or a parent is bullying you or whatever? What are the precautions that you take so that you get it ended?
Well, of course, if it's Facebook, Instagram, one of the social media outlets, of course, report.
To Facebook, Instagram, okay.
So that's the first step that you can take.
Yep.
You can go to law enforcement, and law enforcement can direct you further. There's several phone numbers that you can reach out to. There's a Stop Bullying Now hotline in the United States that you can reach out to. There's a kids help hotline, and there's actually a national anti-cyberbullying .gov.
Oh.
So you can go to that and you can read the resources that are available there.
Yeah.
Little by little, there's progress being made.
Right.
And the issues are becoming broader, so that it's not just, it doesn't have to be such a direct, it can be a more indirect threat or comment or statement.
Right. Yeah. It's hard for me to wrap my head around, because the way I look at it is we're only on this earth for a stint of time, and nobody knows how long they're gonna be here. And why would we even do that? If I can't get along with somebody, or I don't particularly care for somebody or whatever, I just
Move on.
move on and I mind my own business. And if they start doing this kind of stuff, I just block. I block them everywhere.
But that's
And I move on.
You can though.
Right.
You have the capacity to know, I'll push this block and I'm not gonna let it bother you.
Right.
Bother me. Some people don't have it in their head
Yeah.
to move on.
Yeah, and we do in the entertainment business. We do run into this like with ragnats. It's kind of like cyberbullying. So a lot of my clients that I work with would be in there about marriage problems or whatever that were just lies. I mean, you know how many times I was on the road with somebody and it's on the cover that they're getting divorced, and I'm thinking, I'm living with them on the road, and we're playing basketball together, and doing shows, and we're I think everything's pretty cool. But our publicist always used to tell us, don't even read it, don't even go there, don't even. And so I learned kind of at a younger age to do that, and maybe that's what we need to try to instill in our children. Maybe that's a conversation that we have. The best way not to be bullied is just, you see the first one, you ignore it, you block them, you whatever, and go that route. But I know that's hard to do because you want to know what kids are saying about you, and you want to know what people think.
Well, and part of the definition of cyberbullying, it can be a total lie. Someone can just tell a lie.
Oh, yeah.
And then that just spreads.
Yeah.
And then, it goes from this person to this one to this one and this one.
Yep.
And, in kids' case, that can spread so fast through your school. And
Oh,
then,
yeah.
You have a kid that's just devastated by information that's being said that has absolutely no truth whatsoever to it.
Yep.
But
Yep.
I think our kids need to know the difference, just like I was saying to you, that it's not them. Like, it's not them. They're not, there's something wrong with the person who is doing the attacking, the bullying. It's not them. They need
Not
to
their
know.
issue.
Yes, they need to know that it is not on them.
Right.
Whoever is doing it is the one with the
Well,
issue.
I know whenever my dad or mom would see something going on, and like somebody calling me something, just for instance, they'd be like, well, are you? And I'd be like, well, no. All right, well then go about your life knowing that you're not that, and just forget about it.
Yep.
And I feel like it's good to talk to your parents about these situations, just because, they can help you understand that this isn't a problem that needs to be a personal problem.
Right.
I think you're exactly
Right.
right. We're going to wrap up when we come back today, right here on Rob and Tristan's
Foster.
Foster. Welcome back to Foster Life. Today we've been talking about cyberbullying, and I think that it was a really good conversation to have. I think I learned a lot about kind of the things that are going on, and it never hurts just to check in with your kids and see how things are going. Obviously check in on their phone and see what they're up to and what they're doing, but also I think it doesn't ever hurt just to ask them, how are things going and whatnot. And a lot of times, hopefully they'll be honest with you, and they'll tell you, kind of what's been taking place and going on as well. And that's a good thing. So do you have any good news for us?
Yeah, I do actually, and it kind of correlates with what we were talking about.
Oh, really?
Yes. Actually, there was a freshman kid in high school at a Memphis school that was being reported of being bullied because he was wearing the same clothes every day by several kids inside of that school.
Really?
And there was 2 kids on the football team there at that school that actually surprised this kid at the school with I mean, all kinds of attire and clothes to
Oh,
wear
that's
for
cool.
That's awesome.
just to completely stop the bullying altogether.
Wow, that is pretty awesome. Where did that happen at?
Just as a Memphis high school.
Oh, that is really cool. I think if we as human beings did more of that kind of stuff and come together and help each other, and could you imagine what a better world we would live in if we would just spread the light and the good stuff, and people are watching us all the time, and our actions speak much louder than our words, but also words can be very hurtful. And I don't very often talk about the Bible, but the Bible talks about your tongue being a double-edged sword, and a sword is pretty sharp, and sometimes words can cut like a knife, and you never know what you're going to tell somebody, that you're going to say, that's going to stick with somebody for a long time. And there's been things that I've heard in my life growing up, and I don't know that those people understand that they might have said that just in whatever, but I still remember that they said that. And sometimes those cuts heal, but the scar is always there.
Right.
And I just think it would be so cool if we could not make cuts and scars and try to lift each other up. When we come back on Friday, we're going to talk about sibling separation. And that's a big issue in the foster care system. And we're going to talk more about that when we come back.
Help support Foster TV. Go to fostertv.net and make a donation today. Foster TV's My Story is a HEDFRA production, only on Foster TV.